that even though we look alike and that my siblings all look like my father.
What if the family next door had a little girl and they wanted a little boy? Or whatever.
But those things aren't likely. So
No.
all I can do is
all
I can do is take in the reasons and the evidence that I
Allahu Akbar.
see,
I agree,
and then
I
choose
agree.
the more likely situation, right?
Alhamdulillah. I completely agree.
Yeah.
But so now you've conceded a belief can be true without proof, and then you have reasons.
With compelling reasons.
Content over everything.
And then guess what happens? And guess what happens then? If your reasons can be countered, yeah. So you give your reasons why you believe such and such a thing. So we can't prove it now. But you're saying they look like me. I believe my mum is chaste woman, right? They're your reasons. But then I come to you. I don't know your family history, and this is hypothetical.
No.
But then if I came to you and said, look, I've got evidence that your mum was cheating with this geezer at the time you were born, right?
Right.
And it was with your dad's brother. That's why you look like it.
Then my beliefs would be challenged, and I'd be open to changing
Now the question
my
then
views.
needs to be asked.
Right.
Exactly. Now if you then at that point said, "Oh, I still believe in my dad," that's now delusional. Because your reasons for supporting your belief have been countered, yeah, and now you're still now believing blindly now. You're ignoring the evidence.
You don't think that's true in terms of the
Let's stay on
the
point.
science.
Let's stay on point. Let's
You're
first establish the
providing-
principle. Let's first establish the principle.
I understand your
So
point.
you accept now
I
that a
accept
belief
that.
can be true without proof.
Without proof but with evidence. You make a concession with some reasons. With reasons.
Do you accept a belief can be true without proof?
I believe can be true without proof, absolutely sure.
Alhamdulillah. So we have a principle now.
Okay.
We can apply to everything. Whether it's religion, whether it's your father, whether it's science, everything.
Right, but from my point of view, having a neutral standpoint and taking information about religions and learning about different religions as well as learning about science, I am not presupposed to a particular position. I'm just taking information. And the thing that makes the most sense to me in terms of the reasons that I've heard about to explain where we come
Yeah,
from.
well, you've got your own preposition because you like to sleep around. You've already admitted that. Therefore, you wouldn't want a religion that prohibits that. So you're already biased against it because it's going to inhibit things you like to do.
I mean,
Anyway,
that's a very personal kind of thing, and you don't necessarily know that that's how I feel, and that's
No,
where
but you say you like
my...
sleeping around.
I do now, yes.
That's what I'm saying to you. So you like
But
to
I
sleep
could
around.
also accuse you of the same biases. I don't know you, and I don't want to. But from your view, because you're seeking religion, and you feel. So I don't know what reasons you have to seek out religion, but certainly there are reasons that people are gravitate towards religion, right?
I didn't seek out religion. Right. Anyway.
But
So
anyway,
establish the principle.
we have established that you don't like sleeping around. The moral code of Islam is compatible with your person. What makes you happy? So
No.
I could say the
We're
same
applying
thing
the
about you.
principles. My principles. Because you keep saying about my predisposition that I want to sound.
I mean, you accuse me of personal bias in terms of in my intake. Say, and it could be for you too. Can we concede that?
So, okay. So what's personal bias on my side?
You said that I chose to be an atheist, or possibly I chose to be an atheist because it's compatible with the lifestyle that I desire.
No. I said not you chose to be an atheist. You wouldn't leave that way of life of doing what you like when you like, because it's going to stop you doing things you like to do.
No.
I'll give an example.
You had me before. So you had me before when we were talking, just in terms of reasons and beliefs and logical. Please don't make this personal. You're making it personal now. So we're
No, but you're making it personal on me.
Because
you're accusing me of the same thing I just accused you of.
I'm only pointing out the fact
You accuse me
that
of the predisposition, and I'm doing the same to you. That's all.
you started that argument.
No, you did. You said I'm predisposed.
There's a camera there.
Anyway, right. So now we're in a position.
So let's not talk. Let's leave the personal bias part of it out of it, okay?
So don't accuse me of it.
I know. I didn't want to go there. I didn't start that.
You did.
No.
You said I have a predisposition.
You said that about me. You said that because I want to sleep around.
No, prior to that, you said it to me.
No, I didn't. Come on.
I don't know.
All right.
Well, let's leave it out.
So we've established the principle of belief, yeah? So we now accept a belief can be true without proof. So now what happens in this situation, I've spoken about this in the past, they say to me, prove there's not an invisible monkey playing the piano on Mars.
Yeah.
Or prove there's not a spaghetti monster.
Sure.
Right. Now, this would only happen if I said, prove there's no God. Yeah? And I would never do that. So if someone says to me, prove there's no spaghetti monster. Like, you know my answer's going to be? What do you think my answer's going to be? If someone says that to me.
Tell me.
What would you imagine from our conversation?
That you can.
No? Try it.
Prove to me there's no spaghetti monster.
Do you believe in spaghetti monsters?
No.
Me neither. That's dead, yeah? Because it's a nonsense.
But she could say, prove to me that Christian God is in the...
Do you want to try
Because
that?
she believes it. Yeah, please. I want to hear yours.
Right.
I just want to see what your argument. Because I mean, I really respect your ability to form logical arguments and things like that. I just think that you're applying a certain double standard
No.
to the
You know why?
to the burden
I'll
of
tell you why
proof.
it's not. Because you know what I said about the principle of belief? You can apply it to any matter. Christianity, Islam, science. Why do you believe that? For example, why do you believe in evolution? Yeah, and you'll give me your reasons. Now, there's a beautiful video that was done last week in the park.
Right.
Yeah, I think we might put it up on our channel.
Okay.
It was Tabor and Skydive Phil. Did you see it?
No.
So this and I'm going to be honest with you, this topic, I've refuted evolution. I'm not even going to embarrass myself when there's that knowledge already out there. In the specifics. So if that's the intention for you, of what is the challenges towards the belief in evolution, I suggest you watch that video. Yeah, because it challenges the whole. You know, like it challenges the reasons why you believe your father's your father. It challenges the reasons why you claim evolution happened, and all the little nuances get taken apart.
He's saying that Sabor points out the outliers, and that it's
What's
not
that?
He's saying that Sabor points out the outliers, and they're not the like majority opinion.
Yeah. Oh, is that what he said?
So can I actually respond to your question? You asked me like before you start talking about the previous video, why I believe in science versus something else, the nature of belief and why.
Well, what response? I can't remember. Well,
Right, but so the reason that I feel like, because you're sort of making the case to me that all even science requires belief. Is that sort of what you're saying? So the difference for me is that I apply Occam's razor. I'm thinking of.
so give me
I look
give me
at
example
okay,
of
so
that.
I look at the Quran. So I see the Quran. I see that it's a book that was written 1,400 years ago, and then I see modern researchers, people who in contemporary times who have done a lot of research, who live in this modern society where we understand a lot more about the world now in terms of germ theory, you know, like things like that, modern technology. And these scientists, thousands of them, tens of thousands of them have all performed research on this, looked at historical evidence, looked at fossils and things like that, and they all, as I know that I saw a video where you point out, you can name and cite very reputable scientists who disagree with the overall model. However, the consensus still is that macroevolution has occurred and natural selection occurred, and that human life started from simple life forms.
It's a belief.
It's a belief, but when I apply Occam's razor, I think what's more likely that someone 1,400 years ago wrote a book that tells us the nature of the universe, or that tens of thousands of researchers in contemporary times have shared all these views, have tested theories, and these are the best conclusions, not necessarily, they're not absolute beliefs, these are the best theories that we have to understand the natural world. So to me, when I apply Occam's razor, what is more likely? I feel what is more likely is a scientific consensus.
Okay. I believe. I'm going to make a very good point that you threw me.
And so that's where the difference.
No.
Yeah.
So you're saying that. All right. Yeah. See, I believe the Quran. I believe the author of the Quran.
I intend to.
We'll give him a Quran. Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you very much. Inshallah. Thank you. Okay. Right. See, I believe the author of the Quran isn't a man. I believe the author of the Quran is the creator of everything. I believe that this creator in the Quran showed man his past, gave man guidance for his present, and warned him of his future.
Okay.
That's what I believe.
Right.
I believe the Quran is the word of Allah because I believe Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam received the message from Allah. So if once I've accepted that principle, and when I read the Quran, I can see it's not from Muhammad. Words it contains are not from a... the claim you make on Muhammad is this: he's crazy, he's deceived, or he's a liar. It's got to be one of the three. Yeah, you could say deceived by the devil, but you're not going to say that. You're making it say human devil. Yeah? So you're left with crazy or a liar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the teachings of Islam, you look at the guidance from Muhammad, a crazy person didn't do this. This is the first principle. This is why I don't believe he was crazy. A second reason I don't believe he was crazy, because his enemies said, we know he's not crazy. We know he's not a liar. His enemies are saying, we know he's not a liar. They claimed it was sorcery. So there was something profound about this book. Then when you look at the man Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, this is a man who was illiterate, couldn't read or write. He's not going to write a book over 23 years. If you read the Quran, if this is what he would have had to have done, he would have had to have digested the New Testament, the Old Testament, the Talmud, the Apocrypha, all of these things. And then he would have to rehash them in his brain, and then he would have to relay them over 23 years, changing everything. This is what you're asking of this man, who left Mecca twice, I think. Yeah? Before, prior to revelation. So you need to ask, where did this revelation come from? So all you can say as an atheist is that either he's a liar or he had some helpers doing this. You understand?
Right, but okay, so for me as an atheist, or no offense to you, right? But for me as an atheist, there are plenty of so-called prophets that you would even call liars or crazy, right? Joseph Smith, for instance. What do you think of Joseph Smith?
Okay. Here's what you got to
So
understand.
that's why for me,
right.
another to go from a
Do
leap
you
up.
know Joseph Smith?
Yes.
Have you heard
I
the
know.
story of Joseph Smith?
Yes.
So do you question why I might reject Joseph Smith?
Because the life he lived was very different from, I guess, the life
Not
of Muhammad,
necessarily
right?
that. This is a man who found some gold tablets
Yeah, I know.
in a language only he can understand.
Right,
So
I'm using hyperbole
No,
to
no,
make
give you an
a
example.
point, right?
I'll give you an example.
I know, but I'm
I
making
reject Joseph
hyperbole.
Smith because Muhammad's the last prophet. That's why I reject Joseph Smith.
Right, but again, so what you've said are the reasons that compel you to believe in Islam, right? It's sort of the evidence, or the not necessarily proof, but the reasons that you believe in Islam versus the evidence provided by the scientific community.
No, you're conflating two things here. Okay, before Islam comes God,
Okay,
the creator.
right.
First thing is the claims of the scientists against whether God exists or not. Religion is something else. Religion is man's connection to that God.
In your view, yes.
So it is, isn't it?
Right, but again, we're talking about.
I don't believe in Islam before I believe in God, do I?
So So the reason that we got into this
Yeah.
here is because you were talking about the nature of belief, right? You were saying, trying to make the point that
No.
science is a belief,
I established a principle
right?
that beliefs can be true without proof, and I established a principle that even science is based on belief, because you haven't got the proof. You've got you've looked at the data, you've come up with these kind of ideas. There's no proof behind it.
Right, but that's the only way that humans can understand
Right,
the world.
but that's belief,
We
though.
take in certain data and the world
No, but
around
the
us.
only reason I started this whole conversation about belief is because you spoke so derogatory about the word belief. That's why I had to bring it to the table and show you that it's not as what you think it is. You think belief just talks about fairies and the bottom of the garden.
I conceded.
But it
I
applies-
conceded to you that belief is. I mean, it requires.
Why do you say to me? Because you've already conceded the same principle about belief.
No, but I also made the point that the difference being when you look at scientific consensus and scientific evidence that.
Is that yours? You're 10 minutes over, yeah?
10 minutes over.
No, one second. That's SC Tower. Right, go on.
The difference being that you apply Occam's razor in terms of the amount of evidence, and you look at the two different theories or models, right? As you say, and what is more likely.
No. I tell you, you know how I believe in a creator, isn't it? It's nothing to do with religion. It's very simple. I believe something causes this universe. Because I believe everything begins to exist requires a cause. That's what I believe. And I believe if the universe had a beginning, it required a cause.
We were talking
But
about
yeah, so he brought this up as well last night when we spoke.
But language breaks down at this point because cause
Right. So then the question becomes.
on.
I mean, you've probably heard this argument as well. Who created the creator then?
Sorry?
Who created the creator?
Okay. When I say creator...
I'm just curious to hear what your argument is. I'm not necessarily making this, but I just want to hear what you're saying.
Okay. My definition of a creator is a first cause. Yeah?
But isn't a creator complex and conscious and all powerful?
There's a first cause. Before you get to the complexity of the nature of the creator,
right?
Let's first start with what it requires to be. What's its necessity? And it has to be the first cause.
So why is that? Why is that your default understanding
Because
of the universe?
otherwise you will have a creator that requires a creator, then that creator requires a creator, and you like your Occam's razor. So let's narrow it down to the original creator.
So isn't the more logical explanation that there is no creator if the creator has a creator has a creator, and you can extend that ad infinitum? Like,
you can't though.
You can't exactly.
You can't.
But why is it more logical to have one creator? Isn't it more logical to have no creator?
No,
in terms of Occam's razor?
because I believe the universe requires a beginning. I believe the universe requires a cause. So I can't just because infinity doesn't work, then what? So I ignore the idea it has a cause. No, I'm telling you my default position is I believe the universe has a cause.
And I don't believe that the universe has a cause.
I don't care what you believe, mate. Not about what you is, yes, you know what I believe, isn't it? Right. It's my belief, not yours. So I believe the universe requires a cause. I believe that cause needs to be.
I feel like you do care what other people believe, or you wouldn't be here talking to people.
What?
If you didn't care what other people believe, you wouldn't be here talking to people.
No, but I'm not here to change. What I'm talking about now is not your belief, is it?
No.
Right. So what I just said there, put it in context. I'm referring to what I'm talking about right now. Yeah? Look, you could leave this park as an atheist today, right?
Yeah.
Do you honestly think it will have any effect on me whatsoever?
No. I actually didn't come here. I came here to listen to
See,
speak.
there are people here who are products of their environment like yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And when they get to places like this, they might hear something they've not heard before. Or they might hear their belief, or the reasons for their belief challenged. And they might be honest enough to say, you know what, actually that's something to think about there. And then they might go away and reflect upon it. Alhamdulillah, many people have done. Honestly, alhamdulillah, right.
Yeah.
So I'm just basically presenting my position.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about my religion and you were trying to challenge my religion against science. But I'm saying, no. You were saying about the scientific model against religion. I'm saying before the religion, we have to get a creator. We have to have a default position. So your default position is there's no creator. Universe caused itself. That's your default position. Right. My default position is not that. My default position is very simple. I believe this universe needed a cause.
Can I first say something personal? Like, I didn't start as an atheist, right? So I started agnostic, and I was open to the idea of a creator, but I compared
When did you start agnostic?
When I was old enough to start having thoughts,
No.
13 or 13 to 17.
What you just said then implied that we started this conversation.
Pardon me?
No, I'm just saying when you said that there, it implied that when we first started talking today, you were
agnostic. Oh, okay, no, not today.
Yeah.
But you're talking about like how I found my default position, my foundational beliefs. Adam.
Oh yeah, Adam, listen. Talk about what I believe. Why don't you tell me what you believe?
Because we're having conversation, we're talking
about...
No,
but I'm telling you why I believe something.
Well,
and every time
I'm listening to you. I'm listening.
No, but every time I say something to explain why I believe something, you explain to me why you believe what you believe. Right. Let me explain what I believe first, develop my default position.
Yeah.
And if you want to challenge that, no problem. Alhamdulillah. Right. So my default position is what? I believe this universe requires a cause. That's my first point. Then I believe that this first cause needs to be uncaused, otherwise we have infinite regression, which can't be solved. Therefore, this cause has to be uncaused. Yeah? You understand?
Right.
So once my cause is uncaused, don't ask me what caused it. Yeah? Okay?
So
does that make sense?
Yes.
If I say something is uncaused, don't ask me what caused it.
So I'm listening to you, and I understand what you believe.
So let me develop it so you understand my position.
Yes.
Okay. So now I have an uncaused cause that I believe exists that created everything. Mm-hmm. I believe this uncaused cause is more powerful than anything that we can imagine.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything power comparable. Mm-hmm. I believe this uncaused cause has intelligence for what it caused. I believe this uncaused cause has consciousness to choose the cause. See, the effect is not just a random because of the existence of the cause. It's a product of the cause. It's an effect of the cause.
Right.
So I have an uncaused cause of all that exists that is more powerful than anything that we can imagine, that is more intelligent and is conscious. That's my creator. Yeah?
Okay.
So this now negates your question, who created the creator, doesn't it?
You're making a claim.
No.
And just because that claim cannot be disproven, it does not make it true.
First thing, This is my belief,
Yeah.
right? You
Agreed.
don't need proof for it.
Okay.
You need reason for it.
Okay.
I'll give you my reasons.
Right.
Okay. So now, my creator. So this is the qualities now. It has to possess by necessity. If I believe it caused the universe, has to have these qualities: all powerful, conscious, intelligent, uncaused. 4 qualities. Yeah. That's my creator. So going back to your original question, who created the? You said you said it in quite a blasé manner. I could ask you who created the creator, isn't it? Yeah. You now know.
I'm presenting you with a common argument. I'm just curious about what
I've
your
seen
response
this
to that.
argument so many times.
Yeah.
Right? But you now realise, now I've defined my creator, that question is redundant. Because you can't ask somebody what caused an uncaused thing, can you?
But hold on. So
Do you accept that or not? You can't ask somebody what caused an uncaused thing.
sure, let's say I do. Yeah.
You can't, can you? If something's uncaused, you can't say what's its cause. Listen, mate, I said uncaused. That means it's not caused. So if something's not caused, you can't ask what caused it, can you? It's a redundant question. Do you accept that?
I accept that.
Alhamdulillah. Now, if my cause, let's change the name now to creator. Yeah?
Sure.
You can't ask me what created my creator, can you? So don't ask that question again to anyone who believes in a creator in this manner.
But see, the reason I asked that question is because, and we're having this conversation, you're kind of making the assertion that my beliefs are without proof, or that my beliefs
No.
my choice of
I don't think I even asked you
atheism
about
is-
your beliefs, mate. I don't think I've asked you. You've just thrown science here, there, and everywhere.
We kind of started this conversation. We were introduced, and
No,
then
no,
you
no.
started
First
asking
of all,
me
I
what
have
we started this conversation by
Ask you
you
why you're an
asking me.
atheist.
You asked me like,
Why you're an atheist, I asked you.
yes,
And
exactly.
you said.
So you did ask me about my
No,
beliefs.
no.
So I feel like it's
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, we were
It's
having
on
a-
camera, don't worry.
we were having
I
a
asked
conversation
I asked
about-
you why you're an atheist, and
Yeah.
you said because you believe in science. Yeah?
not that I believe in science. No,
Some shit. I believe in the scientific foundation.
I don't.
What was your response, and why you're an atheist?
We'll have to look at the tape.
All right,
of
let me ask you the
recording
question
or
again. Why you're an
whatever,
atheist?
Why am I an atheist? Because of the evidence that I've seen.
Oh, right, yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah,
the evidence
that's
you've
what I've
seen. What
seen.
evidence have you seen?
Like I said again, scientific consensus, articles about scientific consensus.
Okay, so what evidence have you
that's it.
seen?
That is the accumulation of, lots of scientific papers, peer-reviewed scientific papers created by academics over
Okay, give me an example.
over
What,
generations.
All right, okay. Let's go into your beliefs, all right? What do you believe? You say you're an atheist. What do you believe?
What do I believe?
Yeah. You believe there's no creator.
I believe I believe there's no proof of a creator, and that we shouldn't live our lives based on the belief.
All right, that wasn't my
there's a
question. Do you believe there's a creator or not?
creator. No.
Right, so say no. All right. Do you believe this universe caused itself?
Yes.
Why do you believe that?
Because there's no evidence to suggest otherwise.
What caused the Big Bang?
I don't know.
You just said it caused itself.
It's okay in science to say that we don't know certain
You
things.
just say don't know. That's
I'm
right.
very skeptical of people who claim to know everything because we don't know
but there's a
everything.
difference between
There's
not
a certain
knowing-
kind of arrogance to believing that we know everything.
No,
and that
but you
someone
can't
knows
say.
and tell us
You can't say
they know everything.
the universe had no cause, right? Caused itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ask you, how do you know this? And you say, I don't.
How do you know that there was a cause?
No.
Why are you so certain that there is a cause?
You don't understand what I just said here. Right. You said the universe had no cause.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked, how do you know that? And you went, I don't know.
I don't know.
So why are you going definitive? There's no cause then if you don't know.
I'm saying we all don't know.
No, but you said definitively there was no cause. But you don't know if there was cause or not.
I believe that there is no cause.
Based on what?
Based on the fact that I also don't have evidence that there was a cause. And so, in my
Then
mind,
you
what's
just
more
say don't-
likely that
so
there
what-
is a
So if I said to you,
that
did the universe have a cause, your answer should be don't know, not know. You don't know.
Sure, okay, I don't know. I'm willing to say that I don't know.
Right. So the universe having a cause, it could have a cause then, couldn't it?
It could have a cause or it couldn't, yes.
So you could be wrong about it not having a cause.
Absolutely, I could be wrong. I'm open to the idea that it
So I could be
wrong.
right on that point.
You could be right on that point, of course.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you. Appreciate it. Right. So now, I would say you're an agnostic again.
So I feel like there's a strong mischaracterization of atheists in that a lot of people seem to say that atheists are very, very, very certain that there is no God. Whereas my position as an atheist is, given the evidence that I see, it's highly, highly unlikely there is no God.
Yeah, we'll come
But
to your
if
evidence. We'll come to your
there's-
evidence.
But if there is some
I want to
evidence-
test this evidence. I want to observe it and test it. 1 second. Okay, I'm going to use a scientific method. So let's just go on a little step further. So you don't know if there's a cause of the universe. Do you concede that if there is a cause of the universe, it has to be uncaused?
Sorry, can you repeat that statement? If there is a cause of the universe,
If there is a cause of the universe,
Yeah, fine, yeah.
do you accept there has to be?
Oh, hello there.
Where's Phil? Where's Phil? Got in your pocket or anything, is he?
You're safe this week. He's not around.
Listen, we did the dance, innit? Okay, so do you accept that if there is a cause of the universe, yeah, then it has to be uncaused, if there is a cause? But we don't know if there is one.
can you rephrase that? Because that's a little.
Okay, right now we don't know if there's a cause, you don't know if there's a cause of the universe or not. Could be, could not be. Would you agree?
Okay, yeah, I agree.
Right. Whatever percentages, probabilities is up to you.
Sure.
Okay. But if there is a cause, do you concede at least that that cause needs to be uncaused by necessity? Or you have infinite regression?
Agreed.
That's beautiful. All right. So now we come. So, and I'm not here to convince you God exists.
No, and I'm not here to convince you that God doesn't exist.
No, exactly. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
We're just here to understand, right? So, but I'm just establishing the what I'm standing on. So now I have a creator. So then the next question as a human being using rational logic and such is, why was that created? Why was it all created? Is there a purpose behind why we exist? All of these things. Then I see in history men claiming to have had connection to this creator. Yeah?
Right.
So, and this is where religion comes from now. So then I start looking into those claims. And the only claim that holds any weight, not necessarily the one making the claim, but the people making the claim about that person, is Islam.
I have. I've studied it.
Christianity doesn't hold. Because all of a sudden Christianity, now this creator that's uncaused becomes 3 in 1 and it becomes something else. Occam's razor kills that idea. Do you understand? Do you understand why I
When you
reject
compare
Trinity?
those two things, but I still feel like Occam's razor doesn't preclude
Trinity.
natural selection and so forth.
No.
Because
What I'm doing now, right?
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
we're on my belief.
on your beliefs, yeah. Because if you start at the point where you believe that there's a creator and that there's a cause for a creator, then
Christianity
yes,
is
I agree
asking
with
me
you.
to believe that
the
creator
natural,
is 3 in 1 and came down and died for us and this, that, all of this stuff.
Right.
And then I have to believe the manuscripts and the books making that claim.
right?
So I don't even accept them in the first place. Even if the Bible had said it in black and white, God is 3, Father, Son, these 3 are 1. If it was black and white, it means nothing to me. Because just as I don't care what the Hindu scriptures say,
Yeah.
I'm not really that concerned what the claims of the New Testament are.
Sure.
Do you understand?
I understand.
Because we believe the Quran is the watcher over the previous revelations. Right. So I believe. So Muhammad made this claim. An angel. You don't believe in angels, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay. But if a creator exists, there could be angels.
May I like, because we're entering into a different territory now, and I'm happy
coming
hear
to my
some
religion.
views. We are, but can I ask you something about your beliefs? Because I do want to understand your beliefs, because you are a very well-spoken guy, and you have very strong arguments and sort of logical conclusions. So I'm curious to hear what you say about this. Do you believe that God is just?
Yes.
So, with respect to Islam, and human history, I mean,
I can feel straw man coming on, but go on.
no, I mean, I apologize because I
No, just feel it.
I don't understand your personal beliefs. I just want to understand this argument in terms of
So
in
you
the
asked me a question,
in the
is
broader
God
context.
just? Yes, God is the most just. Yes, God.
Right. So, in the world, there are lots of civilizations that had, in the past, had no contact. Like before this globalized world, they had no contact with the Islamic world per se. You know, there are lots of cultures that are on islands, and things like, even today, they're uncontacted peoples and stuff like that. Are these people? Are they damned? Is what I'm saying. No. Because God is just, and He'll forgive them for not having.
Why would they be damned?
Because they don't follow the word of Muhammad, you know.
But they don't know the word of Muhammad.
They don't exactly. They don't know the word of Muhammad.
So how do they
I
follow
mean,
it?
I guess that's the difference between Christianity and
See, in Islam,
Right.
you can only be judged on what you knew. And even then, how was that thing presented to you? Even if it's presented in your language, was it presented in your language? So, for example, if I was talking like academic level to someone off a council estate or something like that, you know what I mean, a lower class person or whatever it is, and they don't understand the academic words, and I lose them in the, and they don't get it,
Right.
it's not on them.
So, so you would say that, you know, Protestants or Catholics or whatever who grew up in like a very programmed environment where they're you know, indoctrinated. You think that they're going to be okay
If they
in the
didn't,
afterlife?
if they didn't know,
If they didn't know.
yeah.
I mean, some of the Christians who come talk to you and
Oh no,
and
it's too late. It's too late for you. You don't have that excuse. I'll be a witness against you. You can't say I never heard, no one told me about it. You heard. But you are right. Look, there are people who lived before Muhammad Sallallahu. Yeah, there are Eskimos.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not going to be judged. They will have a different type of judgment though, because see, the whole point is about obedience. If you knew, would you have obeyed? If you knew. So there'll be tests for people who not necessarily, oh, did you pray 5 times a day? Did you believe the Quran's the word of Allah? Yeah, what do you mean? I've never heard of the Quran. You understand? So we're here to give no one that excuse. So we're here presenting Islam in a manner that no one can say they never heard. And the only thing that will stop you accepting Islam is your ego, because you don't want to be told what to do. Standard. And it's human beings, it's human nature.
So can I bring this back to something you said earlier?
So do you accept that God is just, if that is the case in Islam?
Yeah, I can accept that. Yeah, I mean it's from what the more that I learn about Islam, the more that I believe that it is in the spectrum of religions, that it is one of the better religions in terms of what it brings to the world.
Alhamdulillah.
Pardon me?
Praise be to God.
But earlier you said, when we were talking about the what if question, right? You said if the Christian God is correct, you would come out and say, well, why'd you create Muhammad then? Why did you steer me this way?
No, I would ask, who is that man? Why did you send this man Muhammad?
Right. So by the same token, if I were confronted with Islamic judgment,
Okay.
I would say, why did you create dinosaurs? Why did you create sort of like fossil records
Sorry.
and stuff like that?
What does dinosaurs have to do with you, Sonny?
It is evidence that compels not just me, but a lot of people in the world to have a viable alternative model for the.
Well, you believe men evolved from
existence of
dinosaurs.
humans. No, but just that.
What
just
dinosaurs
that.
got to do with anything then? Asking God why he created dinosaurs, what's that got to do with
Not just
anything?
okay, like dinosaurs is a bad example, but
Very,
we're talking
very
about
good example.
we're talking about like proto-humans, fossils of proto-humans, right? Homo erectus, or everything that came before. I could by the same token say, why did you make this? Why did you create all these fossils and bones of things that could conceivably have led to the creation?
Why did you ignore the Quran?
What?
Why did you ignore the Quran? Why did you ignore the messenger I sent to you? That's my response. Forget guessing of what this bone was and what it looked like and all that.
Right.
I made it clear. I sent you a man, and first thing,
Yeah.
I'm not claiming to be Allah here, I'm going to give you an example, right? Right? I sent a man, and I didn't send any man. I chose the most ignorant man in the village, in the sense of illiterate, in a place which was full of idol worship. I chose that guy.
Sure.
And that guy produced, over 23 years, the most beautiful linguistic miracle. And you don't question how he did it? You don't read what he says? You don't see that he claims it's not from him? You ignore all of that? Why? He gave you a way of life that if you'd have lived it, would give you peace and happiness. 100%. Because I know what you're saying about your lifestyle and such, yeah? I'm pretty sure one day you want to settle down, get married, have children, and pretty sure you do.
My beliefs don't preclude me from doing that.
No, but you want that though, don't you? Or not?
Possibly, I haven't decided yet.
See, I believe, and this is what I'm saying to you, my creator, and this is Allah saying, I gave you a system of life that if you had followed it, if everyone had followed it,
Right.
yeah, this earth would have been a beautiful place. But you didn't. And then you blame me when people are starving in Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah? So, why have you ignored all of this for a few bones? How would you respond?
How would I respond to that?
You know what you should respond? I'm going to go and research this stuff and look at this stuff. Why should I believe this man is who he claimed to be? He claimed to be a prophet of God. He claimed to be a messenger of this creator. Because if he is a messenger of God, then there is a creator. And it's not all random accidents. And there is purpose to your life. And there is a consequence to your life.
Okay.
You need to be sure of this stuff, because right now, you don't know. As we already agreed. And I asked you the question, if you died tomorrow,
Yeah.
what's going to happen to you? And your answer has to be, I don't know.
So I would love to respond, but every time I've responded with what I believe, you've told me that you don't care what I believe.
No, again, don't take it out of context, because I was at that point explaining what I believe, and then whilst I was explaining what I believe, you were telling me what you believe. So right now, you tell me what you believe, and why.
And why?
Yeah.
Well, it does again. So, I mean, it comes down to, again, the scientific method and the process of science and the tools and critical thinking tools that I've been taught about how to understand the world.
That does not do anything against my belief. Nothing.
I disagree.
Which point?
Scientific method requires that you have certain. You don't start at the conclusion necessarily, and just because something is infallible and you make a claim doesn't make it to be true. A lot of things that you have said, such as you believe it's logical that the universe has a cause.
Yes.
Some of these things, they're logically self-consistent, philosophically self-consistent, but it doesn't mean there's evidence for it.
No.
And there's no, and between that and no creator.
You're telling me now why you don't believe what I believe. Tell me why you believe what you believe.
That's the only way I can. I mean, what I.
Well, I explain what I believe without mentioning your belief. Well, I tried to. My belief has got nothing to do with you. Your belief has got nothing to do with me.
Right.
So tell me what you believe and why.
I think I believe in the scientific consensus, in the Big Bang Theory, in whatever our best theory is for.
Why are you believing that? I don't get it. What is it that you believe in? Because I don't see any contradiction. I believe in the scientific method. We're on the same page here. I don't get it. I really don't get it. For me to study Islam, I have to use the scientific method.
But I'm also saying that I don't necessarily know for certain, whereas you're saying you're very certain about it. So from the scientific point of view, I can be uncertain about the origin of the universe.
No. I started with the origin of the universe, which led me to the conclusion, isn't it?
Right.
It led me to religion. So I didn't start with religion. So what you're doing now is a straw man. You're saying that I've got religion and then I've made a god to support that religion. Where I've done the other way around. I started with the creator, worked my way up to the religion.
Okay, understood.
So I've not come to a conclusion.
I'm not trying to straw man in that regard. I'm not contesting that.
But my conclusion of Islam is the conclusion of my intellectual investigation, which involves the scientific method of observation and testing and such. You understand?
I understand.
Adam.
Yeah, it's very, very great talking
Even though we
to
were
you.
going to have a conversation, it was great. Take it.
It's a real pleasure, you know. Real pleasure nice having a conversation.
Huh?
It's a real pleasure having a conversation.
Alhamdulillah, but listen.
I watching your videos, I was very impressed by
So
your.
go away from here and just reflect on, forget the scientific side of it right now.
Yeah.
Just look at the claims of Islam. The Muhammad. Because if Muhammad told the truth,
Yeah.
God exists. Standard. Would you agree? See, to be a Muslim, you have to believe two things.
Yeah.
One, there's nothing worthy of worship but Allah. And two, Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. These are the two things, yeah? What does it mean to say the only thing worthy of worship is Allah? Okay. By worship, we mean recognition. So, for example, Anthony Joshua is a good boxer, yeah? And when people watch him knock someone out, whatever, wow, Anthony Joshua's the man, yeah, Joshua, yeah. That's praise, that's worship, that's glorifying, yeah? What we're saying is you shouldn't be worshipping the man, the creation. You should worship the creator that made that possible. So if you're going to worship Anthony Joshua for his attributes, you should address the one who has the greatest of attributes. Because if that's what gives you your, wow, look at that, well, subhanAllah, you've got something else to look at. Right. And the second one is Muhammad's a messenger of Allah. Right. So Muhammad claims to be a messenger of the Prophet. Oh, sorry, of Allah. Right. Now, either Muhammad lied, crazy, deceived, or telling the truth. That's what you've got to question, bro. You want an argument against a Muslim?
I've asked these questions. Trust me. I mean, this is not the first time that I've had.
Which questions?
The existence
About Muhammad?
The existence of God, the existence of Muhammad.
No. You need to forget about the existence of God right now.
Okay.
Yeah? Because you've conceded there could be.
Right.
You've conceded there could be.
I can see there could be, but doesn't.
And if Muhammad is a messenger, then there is. Yeah? So, you're here, you're not sold.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not sold.
No. No one's saying you have to be. Well, I would suggest watching the Phil and Sabur debate on this stuff.
Sure.
Yeah? And the one we did on EF Tower, you know, with the doctor. With Skydive Phil as well.
I think, is that the one you showed me?
I don't remember.
Right? But for you, if you want to have a, you know, next time you see a Muslim, you want to challenge the claims of Muhammad.
I don't want to challenge.
No, you do. You have to.
I didn't come here to do that.
No, you have to, though.
I came here to get a better understanding.
Alhamdulillah.
You know,
But then
that my challenges are only really to understand. So I believe that there's great like cultural and historical value in Islam, and
forget that.
I came here to understand.
Forget that. Forget happy, go lucky life. We're talking about the realities here. We're talking about life after death and all of this stuff.
Okay.
So if Muhammad is a messenger of Allah, then you need to wake up to the reality of what's going to happen when you die and all this stuff. Yeah? Standard. Yeah? Now, right, that's what you've got to test. Challenge that idea. First of all, was he crazy? Was he deceived? Was he a liar? And if you come to the conclusion that he's telling the truth, we've got a beautiful video on it on the channel.
I think we're talking about like the embryonic statements from the Quran. He's saying like Galileo and people beforehand had that.
Oh, do you want to do that quickly? I don't mind. No, let's do it. All right. So what's your claim about you? Do you believe the embryology, what it says in the Quran, is incorrect? Is that what you're saying? Or are you saying that it was known previous?
So this is the first I heard about it was last night when he showed me.
Okay.
So,
but you said Galileo didn't know. Galen.
Not
Galen and Aristotle.
Galileo, but Aristotle. Yeah.
All right, let me ask you a simple question, and then we'll end the conversation. Yeah.
Okay.
Was Aristotle correct in his description of the process?
I don't know. So
No.
As I said, I only
The answer is no. The answer is no.
I haven't done enough research on this.
The answer is
to
no.
really know.
Was Galen correct in his understanding? No. Was science correct up until the 19th century in his understanding? No. Was the Quran correct?
But hold on. So my main argument against this was just because I can't, even if I can't explain why there's an accurate description of embryology in the Quran.
No, that's different. That's a different thing.
Even if I can't explain that, it doesn't prove the existence of God or that. Just because.
No, all it proves is that the author of the Quran knew something about the embryonic process.
Exactly.
That no one else did.
So that's why I didn't bring it up. I don't care. Yeah, exactly. That's all it proves.
But just to respond, because a lot of people try to use
I know,
this.
yes.
Galen didn't know. Galen got it wrong. Aristotle got it wrong. Science to the 19th century got it wrong. The Quran got it right. And we've had...
that might be a testament to Muslim scholars, at that time.
What?
That might be a testament to, of the scholars and scientists.
So the Muslim scholars knew what was going inside the womb of a woman and knew the process precisely of how it took place.
To me, that's a more likely argument than that the word of God came down and told
I've got a
Muhammad.
beautiful thing for you to research.
Sure.
Dr. Keith Moore, embryologist. See what he says.
Yeah,
he was professor of anatomy at the Canadian University. Yeah, he wrote the book The Developing Human.
Sure.
This is a man who knows his stuff when it comes to embryology. And this is a man who says no one had this information. And he actually says he must have got this information from God. That's what he says. Right. Now later on, people said, they were under duress, it was in Saudi, all that, right? There's a video done later on in California University, I think it was. And he was asked this question, are you Muslim?
This is an argument from authority that I don't really accept, though.
So you don't accept...
I think it's a logical fallacy to make an argument.
You think it's a logical fallacy to take the argument of somebody who's an expert in that thing against your
Science isn't about the voice of one person who's the ultimate authority on things. Science is about the consensus of many. Also, science isn't about the voice of one individual.
So you're
scientist.
saying,
It's the voice of,
so you're
it's
saying to
about
me, if
peer-reviewed
someone comes
consensus.
to me, comes to me and says, "Oh, the Quran got embryology wrong," well, that woman was trying to do,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
And an embryologist scientist has said it didn't. You're saying I can't bring that as evidence? Really?
As a single embryonic scientist, yes. No.
I can't.
It doesn't prove the claim.
Okay. So now what you're going to do? You're going to bring an embryology scientist who refutes him.
Sure, yeah, I could.
Bring him. You can't. Because the Quran's correct. It is how it happened.
Okay.
That's the whole point. So the argument that you were saying about Galen and Aristotle is debunked.
Again, all that proves is that Muhammad had knowledge of embryology, right?
I didn't bring verses from the Quran to prove the Quran is from God, did I? How did I say to prove the Quran's from God?
That I don't know. Please tell me.
Test the messenger. Adam, it's been great.
Cheers.
Oh, you interrupted my tea and everything. I'm just going to do a hatchet job on you now. You don't mind, do you? Have a gent.
Come take over everything from your humanity.
Come, man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV.
All the wounds.
Listen.
Northern Ireland, the IRA, all that mix. Oh, it's all
I
coming
mean,
out.
they had it just so many years.
Can you imagine, putting a border back there? But Gibraltar is an issue because the Spanish are mad, and they'll be revolting, and they'll shut the door, and they'll be like,
It's crazy, they are crazy. There is some other army
football country back.
Excuse me, if we in the